first time I heard that song, I hated it, couldn't stand it. I kept listening to it in the car when I was heading up to Byron Bay, and after a while it just began to break down these dense negative energies within my own energetic field, and it just opened my chakra up, and it's just amazing first impressions how deceiving they can be. Natalia, would you come up here please? Here at Altered States of Consciousness, one of the major projects that we are bringing forth is a Renaissance of Consciousness network, and we are looking for various speakers to come and share with you and bring various different modalities in relation to consciousness. Natalia is one of the founding members of Renaissance of Consciousness. She's been with us for, well, I've known her for 2 years, and I highly value her character. Her revelation of the spirit and energies is profound, and I know you'll get blessed by her tonight. So would you please put your hands together for Natalia.
Thanks very much, Pete, for this introduction. This was really, really cool, I must say. That was fantastic, the cinematography, the sound. And I was deep in meditation. And I wish that, instead of talking about the altered states of consciousness tonight, I wish I could sing and take you into this altered states of consciousness. But unfortunately, because I don't have the talent, I'll have to speak. Because as you know, as much as we talk about it, it's not the same as directly experiencing these states. So before I start my talk, I just want to give you a little bit of introduction about myself. So my name is Natalia, and I'm a clinical and a research psychologist. I'm also a transpersonal psychotherapist, and I also facilitate a fellow meetup group on lucid and conscious dreaming. So as far as I could remember myself, I've always been interested in all things unexplained, in all the paranormal phenomena, in consciousness, evolution, in mysteries, ancient and infinite, quantum physics, all of it. And all my life, what I'm trying to do, I just recently have figured it out, I'm trying to combine the science and spirituality. So in my main job as a research psychologist, I work at Brain and Mind Research Institute at the University of Sydney. I work with young people with various mental illnesses, and as well as working with patients as a clinician, I do a lot of research on their brain, on the neural correlates of mental illness, to actually trying to see what's going on in the brain. Now, in my private practice, I specialize in non-ordinary states of consciousness, in altered states of consciousness, and always was thinking that it would be so cool to do what people in X-Files did. And this is what I kind of do now in psychology. I help people that experience various non-ordinary states, such as out-of-body experiences, peak experience, near-death experience, lucid dreaming, anything that's out of the ordinary there on the spectrum of consciousness. I try to help these people. I work with them and try to, for some of them, to help them find meaning in these experiences, to find perhaps some spiritual guidance, or try to help to integrate those experiences into their lives, because sometimes it can be quite difficult. So tonight I want to share some of my personal experience on my journey and share what I've discovered and found helpful, because I'm a very practical person. And when someone, when we talk, I do a lot about altered states. But I also ask myself, how do you actually do it? Okay, it's great, lucid dreaming is fantastic and out-of-body experience, but how do we do it? How do we achieve those states? And what do we do, and how we deal with them? So what I want to talk about is something that very often is overlooked and disregarded. It's something that is so obvious, but unfortunately, and for various reasons, it has been dismissed for long periods of time in many spiritual teachings, and I would say more that it actually was purposefully distorted and inserted as a distortion in many New Age teachings. So the belief that you are not your body, that belief I found to be as one of the biggest spiritual bypasses. And we always hear that, you are not your body, you are not your physical matter, you are not your flesh. Well, that's true, but when the ancients said that you are not your physical body, what they meant is you are not the totality. That's not, your body is not the totality of who you are, okay? So everyone knows that we're multidimensional, and we've got all of that. But what I found that unless you experience all those altered states, but you actually embody those frequencies here and now, in this physical reality, in this dense body, it actually doesn't get you anywhere. So you can think about it, you could go there, but unless you actually anchor it in this earth, in this body, you will not progress very well on your path. So we are multidimensional, right? So at a current level of understanding, my understanding that so far we've got 15 dimensions and counting. So the first three is a physical body, our physical body, our etheric body, and the astral body. And then dimensions 4 to 15 is your higher self, your soul, your oversoul, and your avatar. So every one of us is potentially, and this is how we were designed, we are a stargate. We are an avatar, every one of us. But without considering the physical body and without actually working with the physical body, this becomes sometimes like a final frontier on your spiritual path. And those forces that would like to control Earth and humanity, as you would know, they go to great lengths to poison our water with fluoride, for example, okay, or do genetically modified food or grains. So there's a lot of efforts that are being directed at actually making our physical body sick. Because what happens is, if your physiology and the physical body is not on track, is not aligned, or for example, if your pineal gland is calcified, then no matter how much you meditate, you actually won't be able to embody your higher self in those frequencies, and you won't be able to fully activate your DNA and realize the Stargate in here and now. Why is it so important? Because this is basically, that's, I think, my understanding again, and I forgot to say that when you listen to me, don't listen to my words, just listen to the essence and see if it resonates with you, and listen with your heart, because I may, say silly things or not so silly things, it doesn't really matter, but what matters is what's behind it. So my understanding is we are here, every one of us, to embody the Stargate inside us, to become a bridge between the divine and between the human. I think this is what the ancients said when we are to bring heaven on earth. That's my understanding. So, and the body does get in the way, because as I said, the brain is pivotal, and when it comes to our perception and interpretation of reality, it is really important. Also, our endocrine system, our hormonal system. For example, if you're trying to meditate, but you've got a lot of stress hormones going on in your body, you're full of adrenaline or cortisol, which is a stress hormone, it'll be very, very difficult to embody those states of bliss. So what I'm trying to say is the fact that, discard the body, just try to be spiritual, is a very distorted view. The body is the greatest gift, and when you think about it, everyone's heard about the junk DNA and all of those strands, and apparently we've got 12 strands, or some people more. And each strand is a key to a particular dimension, a particular range of accesses to other subtle realms. But the Creator didn't put those keys somewhere on the seventh plane for us to access. It put it in our DNA, which is in our physical body, where we've never looked. So we have to go in and we have to utilize it, and we have to align and attune our physical body to be able to progress. Now, maybe this is not an issue for a lot of people, but I'm talking from my personal experience, and I found that it was a huge issue for me because I've been working very hard on myself, on healing, clearing, balancing various things, emotionally and mentally, and things were sort of under control as much as you think that they could be. But the physical body was the biggest stumbling block because I hit the wall and I could not progress in my explorations, even in my lucid dreaming, because my physical body was unable to embody and actually hold those higher vibrations. So, our body is a hologram, as Peter has said, and this hologram is created by divine thought. It can be affected and it can be changed by thought. Yesterday I went to a lecture by a professor who discovered brain plasticity. He's huge now, he's from California, gave a lecture at our institute. So they actually ran clinical trials with patients that of old age that had various problems with their brains, so deterioration in their cognitive function, decline in their memory, impaired attention, impaired information processing. And with very simple training methods, they did it for about 2 to 4 weeks. By the end of it, they measured, and they used everything. They used MRI, they used this brain spectroscopy, they used various tests to measure the level of the brain capacity and the cognitive capacity. So they did it before and after the training. And when they did it after the training, guess what happened? All of those changes were reversed. So brain plasticity is basically a capacity of our own brain to form new neural pathways, to self-organize, to self-repair, to heal itself, to reverse the effects of aging. And this is amazing because finally science is seeing the light and actually understanding and accepting something that, again, the ancients knew all along. Also, what's important is everyone heard about the Merkaba, which is a system of rotating and counter-rotating energy spirals in our energy body, and it works very closely with our DNA. So it is also a vehicle that allows us the access to all these other multi-dimensions. But again, if the physical body is not vibrating, not functioning at those frequencies, it's actually unable to fully realize the Merkaba and sustain the light frequency, the light activations, and the full DNA activation. Now, why am I saying all of that? I've been very much interested in how to restore the original divine blueprint that we were born with, before everything happened, before it became corrupted. And what I found is, and I'm going to share tonight, is a very simple system that is based on aligning your physiology, your endocrine system, and your basically the physical self, attuning it to the flow of cosmic energy, which makes a lot of things and exploration of those deeper states much, much easier. And again, ancients knew about that much better than us. Those of you who do martial arts probably very, very familiar with this. So I'm talking about the chi, and just quickly want to talk about the chi cycle. And I hope this is something that people can take on board. It's practical and something that I use and something that I found has been very, very helpful. So I first heard of the chi cycle from an Australian guy. His name is Joost Sauer. He's in Queensland, and he is an acupuncturist and motivational speaker. He's a therapist. He works with kids with various drug addictions, and he wrote 3 books on drug repair and Higher and Higher, I think, and The Perfect Day. So basically what he discovered is he was reading all these books that ancient Chinese knew about it. They knew that qi was simultaneously an energy, information and consciousness that pervaded the whole cosmos and universe, from the smallest molecule to the biggest stars. And it was the same force that coursed through our body, and they found that it courses through our body in an infinite 24-hour loop. Spends 2 hours at each organ, and each organ of our body corresponds to a particular emotional, mental and spiritual function. So when Jost started using the system, he noticed very quickly a huge improvement in his physical, emotional, psychological well-being. And then after a couple of months, he noticed, as a side effect, to his amazement, that his ability to perceive the unseen world has greatly increased. His extrasensory abilities has greatly increased. So, in short, it is very simple. So this energy works as follows. We've got a yang part of the day, which is the first part of the day that goes until lunch, where the energy is very active. The cosmos is active and encouraging you to be very active, and then slows down, and it's good for contemplation and other activities. So what he suggests that if you follow this, and as I said, I'm following this and I'm seeing the results already, because what it does, it puts you in the flow with the universal energy. And on the spiritual journey, I think we can use any help that we can get, so why not do that? So what he's suggesting is between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning, 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., get up and do your exercise and do your meditation, because what it does, it moves the stagnant energy and it provides clarity, and it actually infuses your whole body with the chi or prana. Natural detox occurs and everything moves. I can attest to that, because if you don't start the day with exercise, or you don't do any sort of exercise, we tend to forget that we are divine beings. We tend to get caught up in this dense reality. Well, I do. I speak for myself. So this is a way to keep that connection going, to keep the bridge alive, and keep that energy exchange going with those unseen worlds and establishing a better connection. So also what it actually clears the negative emotions in your body, it clears the emotional toxins and stagnant energy. So then between 7 and 9 a.m. you have a nutritious meal, which again, the energy is in your stomach, so it actually supports your stomach, but also it nourishes the soul as well in the time. And then you work really hard until 1 a.m. So you tackle all the challenging tasks in the time and move the energy as much as you can. It works perfectly for my lifestyle, and as I said, I'm seeing fantastic results. So then, you have lunch, and until 3 p.m. you work on sort of less important things, I guess, and from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. You do something for pleasure. You do, you read books, or you do your hobbies, and dedicate time to something that gives you enjoyment. Now, he suggests switching off from whatever you do, especially if you're engaged with technology, SMSs or computers, but by 6 p.m. the latest, because it actually disrupts the flow of chi in our body dramatically. And then, a lot of people probably feel that. They feel the electromagnetic emissions from their computers. They're not really good for you. So not good for the body, and again translates into not good for reaching altered states and exploring altered states. Also from 5 to 7 p.m, because the qi moves to your kidneys at that time, it's a really, and the kidneys where's your sexual energy stored. It's actually very good for some sexual practices at that time as well, that the earth will truly move. Now between 7 and 9, you again eat nutritious food, and then you can meditate and be asleep by about 10 or 11. So this is kind of a cycle that's in tune with the natural flow of the universe. You can take it or leave it, but again, what I found is it enhanced my ability to access and go deeper in non-ordinary states. Because I do a lot of lucid dreaming, I cannot start to tell you what effect it actually had on my lucid dreaming practice. And I think because when you do this, it kind of balances your energy in a way that you start to accrete more energy in your energy body and a physical body, and then you have this spare energy to use in lucid dreaming. I don't know if people know much about it, but you do need to have some spare energy to be able to sustain your consciousness in dreams. So this has been really helpful, and I'm still learning after many years, and previous incarnations, as I remember being really disrespectful to my body and really trying to be all spiritual and separating myself from my body. I found a new respect, and I found what a great tool it is. And what I'm trying to do is really trying to anchor all those vibrations and all those frequencies in this physical reality. So I hope that it's been helpful and not totally boring tonight. Somehow unexpected topic, but I felt guided to share it, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Natalia. We're going to be hearing a lot more from Natalia in the coming months. She has a tremendous teaching gift, and she has a tremendous understanding of some really, really deep, profound truths. And one of the most beautiful things is that perfect integration between the human and the divine. We're going to have a very short break. We're going to grab a cup of coffee and a cup of tea, but we're going to bring our cup of coffee and cup of tea, come back.